Hey, it made a supernatural heat. Hey, it made a supernatural heat wave straight out of him. Oh, I'm telling you, it gets hot down there. It have a hot down there. Turn the air conditioner. It gets hot down there. Hot fire. Man, it's hot. Oh, Lord. My goodness, it's hot.
This is the Truth Frequency Radio Network. TFR. Truth Frequency Radio.
Good morning, TFR.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, this is Alan. I like Ironworx because it's where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came.
I love Ironworx with Josh, Walt and Zack. It's like sitting in your front room having a cosy chat with your best friends.
Hi, it's Diva here, and I just want you to know that Ironworx with Josh, Walt and Zack, it's definitely my favourite dose of reality. Come join the family and keep it flat.
Why sleep in when you could get your dose of iron in the morning? Listen to the Ironworx on TFR.
This is Enlightened Dawn. Roses are red, violets are blue. Iron Realm Media is the best on the planet. To this show, I will forever be true. You guys are truly the best, and I love you guys. I'm so thankful to have you in my life.
Do you like listening to space letters from Never a Straight Answer? Then tune in to the Ironworx with Zack, Walter, and Josh. Break clear of the fear on the Ironworx and become an Iron Scout.
It is Tuesday, my dudes.
And happy Tuesday to you all. Good morning and welcome to the Ironworx right here on Truth Frequency Radio, TFRlive.com. It is Josh, Walt, and Zack hanging out with you this morning. And a fine morning it is too. Good morning, gentlemen. How are you doing?
Hey there. Josh, how we doing?
Doing good. I'm still not convinced Walter can hear us.
I know. You all right over there, Walter?
I see him muted up. So I'm not quite sure.
He's working on it.
Okay.
He is here, though, folks. I see him. I even heard him a little bit, but he don't hear us. Yeah, I don't, like Josh said, we were talking earlier. I can't hear out of my right ear. I woke up and it was all like, Brr.
And there goes.
But I've learned not to fiddle with it too much. When I was young, I had a lot of ear problems. I'd always be sticking cottons or Q-tips down in there and all kinds of crap in there trying to get the wax out. And my doctor, when I was my pediatrician, my mom loved him, Dr. Stover. Pretty sure was his name. I was young, but he told me, like, young man, don't ever stick anything smaller than your elbow in your ear. I was like, well, I can't stick my elbow in my ear. He's like, exactly. Don't put anything in your ear. He said, your ear is amazing. It's like a boiling pot. When it gets too full, it'll flush out anything extra down in there. He's like, where people mess up is they take stuff and they try to get it out and they cram the wax down in there even further. And then it gets infected and all this other type of stuff. So I've learned, and I have a misshapen, I guess, not normal ear canal like the angle and all that kind of stuff is weird. So I do. I'm kind of used to this by now. This happens once, maybe twice a year, where I just don't hear very well for a couple of days, and then eventually it just goes away. But yeah, in my teens, I learned the hard way. That doctor don't know nothing, right? I know everything. Yeah. So yeah, I know. I thank you all for all the tips and chat and all that kind of stuff. Yes, I do, Chill. I lay on that side always. Yep.
Good
But
morning.
it'll.
Good morning.
Hey, I know that dude.
I don't know what's going on with my situation here. All I can assume is the cat's finally made it through that cord over there that I just replaced. So, good morning, though. I am here. I have been here actually quite a while. How are you all?
Doing good,
Not
doing
bad.
good.
I was
Deaf
over
in one
in
ear.
the. Oh, yeah, I was hearing some of that. I'm sorry to hear it, my man. I know
Yeah.
all about having a deaf ear all too well. Now, I woke
I'm
up, and
sore.
came on here, and was messing around waiting for you guys, and saw that. Let me go see the exact channel that I was having fun with. That would be Space Affairs channel, which was showing us the SpaceX NASA mission CRS SPX-28.
Is that
And I
Elon's
was,
new child? Did Elon have another baby?
it's a dragon. That's all I
Oh,
know.
that's the name of his.
Elon had a
Okay.
dragon?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a dragon. I keep the dragon's doing that. The dragon's doing that. So it's all about a dragon. And I was just astounded at the amazing camera work, being able to keep the little spacecraft, not model, spacecraft in the camera. Because I do a bit of camera work again every now and again myself. Tracking birds, tracking all kinds of things. 17,000 miles an hour. Is that what we're doing? Okay, I'm just checking. Them, not us. They do 17,000, right? Up there flying around in the old ISS, the dragons. I'm just trying to make sure I'm sciencing correctly. It's one of the rare channels that still has their chat open while presenting a live stream. So I thought I'd jump in and ask a question or five about, the gyroscopes they're using and the lidar they're using and how they're losing signal. When I have a little app here that I could let them borrow a link to, the low Earth orbit visualization app that shows me plenty old stuff up there for them to lock onto and keep the signal going. They probably forgot. So I dropped that link for them over there so they could find them a new link. Anyway, go over there if you're bored. I'll drop the link for you.
Don't Flat Earth Head sent you.
Yep.
Oh man, have you guys ever tried one of those yoga swings? Not that way, Josh.
Then no.
Then no. Man, does it really I think that's what I did to my shoulder.
Yep, sounds right.
My neck, my back, whatever. But it doesn't take very. I'm pretty out of shape, I'm sure too. But man, it is a great workout. Just like I felt like a child playing on the jungle gym again, doing pull-ups and swinging. Those. Well, we had them where it's kind of like monkey bars, but they're on like chains. So it's like swinging monkey bars. Do you ever play with those when you guys were young? I doubt they'd even let children play with anything like that anymore.
It sounds vaguely familiar.
Yeah, I mean, we had the monkey bars there right next to it, but then they had these like chains and they had like circular things to put your hands into, like a ring.
I got you, yeah.
And then there was a bunch of them in a row. And you could, I loved doing that when I was young. Skipping the one, skipping every other one when you got good at it. But it kind of felt like that, using like every muscle in your arms and shoulders and back to pull yourself back and forth. Oh, it feels great, but it didn't take very long. I was up there for like 10 minutes. I was like, "Oh, dang, dude, I'm done." So yeah, I'm gonna start doing this every morning, get back in shape.
I need to start.
And I'm gonna really work on my breathing while I'm doing it. Because I breathe like a baboon, I noticed. Big shout out to Remo Williams.
I have yet to go back and rewatch that, but I need to.
Shunanji is perfection. Yeah, if you've never seen The Adventures of Remo Williams, hilarious movie. It's an old one though too.
It is dated.
Mm-hmm.
I went to New York City as a small child with a family vacation. And when we went to see the Statue of Liberty, it was being cleaned or deoxidized or something, but there's just a whole bunch of scaffolding up all around it. So it wasn't like just the Statue of Liberty standing in the harbor like you would expect to see, because it still had all the scaffolding up and around it. But if you go back and watch The Adventures of Remo Williams, you'll see what I'm talking about, because that's the scaffolding that was there when I was there as a child. Same scaffolding.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that nuts?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like a blast from the past every time you watch the movie.
Yeah, I think they just had to, because they were using the Statue of Liberty, they just had to incorporate the fact that it was being cleaned at the time.
So I'm sure it was my fault because I'm late, but push the button, Josh.
Son of a... All these motherfucking screens, pardon my language, and I can't seem to get stuff down.
Oh, man.
You know what? I'm just going to have to tear this whole studio down.
Start it all over from scratch.
Pretty much. Pretty much, I think so. That just introduces the high likelihood of us missing a show. Or two.
Or two.
Well,
oh, man, got the garage cleaned out. Feels good. It'll feel good when you get it done, Josh.
I'm sure it will. I'm sure that it will. I've just got so much stuff here that I don't use. And studios just become the catch-all anyway, so. And as my junk piles up in other locations, when I say catch-all, it's just Dixie will come and throw it in here to get my shit piles of stuff out from everywhere else.
I know. I'm bad about that. I'll put this here until, and then I kind of fade off in my head.
Yeah. And it's already down. I'm walked off thinking about my next thing.
Yep. Where to put the next one. I'm getting better though. Yeah. We're getting a lot of the piles done away with. I thought it was going to take me days to clear off the shelf in the garage here. Not the shelf, the desk, I guess. I don't even know what to call it. What would you call that, Josh? I'm having brain farts. What do they call the things in the...
A bench?
In the kitchen?
A counter?
Counter. Yeah, I would call this a counter because it's pretty long. The whole length of the wall, and then call it a counter, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, the old man who built this place, you could tell he had lots of tools and he liked to use them. I mean, where I'm sitting, within 6 feet, I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 power outlets. It would be 16, but 2 of them control the other extra lights to the garage. This guy, I mean, this garage is awesome the way he has it set up. Old guy, He knew what he was doing. Lots of power. And then I don't know what he was doing in here, but like one light, you get much brighter lighting right above your head, like the long incandescent bulbs, real bright. Like, oh, that's great. And then the other one, you flip it, and it's black lights that are like in the corner, facing up. Dude, what were you doing in here, old man?
Black lights, huh?
Yeah. It's weird. I'm trying to find the button that you push where it changes everything into something else. Like Rick has out in his garage. Rearrange the flies. Right order. Oh, Walter. How are the kitties doing, Walter?
It has been still a little of a adventure in various ways. She outside has adapted mostly, other than the fact that she's not, used to being the outside cat roaming the neighborhood. I mean, there was a study or something on one of those shows I've watched over the last year with cats about how far they roam on their nightly, adventures. And it's pretty crazy, the mileage they cover. But she definitely isn't, because, she's used to being homebound. So she's sticking under the house, under the back porch, out in the little yard area between me and the next door neighbor. Every now and again, I'll see her out in the driveway behind the house with that neighbor, just kind of laying out in the driveway. But I've yet to like pull up from somewhere and her be wandering in from across the road or from behind by the bayou or any of that. So I've been going with her and taking her further and further out from the house, letting her follow me around, knowing, Dad's here. She can be safe to explore her little area. We had our first storms this week with her outside, pretty intense rain. So I had kind of shown her where some other places rather than the house, being under the house where the mud would accumulate. There's the shed here and the garage there, and just, showing her around her neighborhood so she can get used to it. And she's adapting. And then in the house, it's been just normalcy, I guess. Everybody's much more relaxed and chilled. Apparently, her oppressive overprotectiveness of the kittens had really been rubbing off on everybody else. And it has definitely shown in the relaxed attitude. Mama and the older kittens playing around, running around, chasing each other like kittens again. Her playing with the kittens, cutting up instead of just nursing them and moving on, letting Nacho be nanny. She's back with the kittens again. So, I mean, things are back to normal in that respect. The neighbor behind us did mention she might want a kitten, and then her daughter did come up to me a few days ago and ask about that idea. And so we kind of debated and gave everybody a chance to win our hearts, if you will, and decided which one we would let go, and went back there to bring it to them literally. And the mom had decided they didn't want an inside cat. And it's like, oh, well, the whole issue over here is that I've got Nacho outside so she doesn't kill these kittens. I really don't want to turn one loose for you guys to have out here with her till they're old enough to defend themselves, So she'll be out here, though. I mean, she's outside. Y'all can adopt her all you want. She can be your outside cat for sure. And if nature takes its course, which it most certainly will, she'll have kittens out there at some point in the next year, So they'll be outside kittens, without a doubt.
Yeah.
But yeah, everything is getting back to some kind of normalcy here. I did pick up a telescope over the weekend. We went to some garage sales, and I picked up, I guess it's like a 4.5 inch reflector, maybe 5.
Is it a Mead?
It's a Orion.
Orion.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I remember when Bob was talking about Mead, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, how they used to be, kind of top of the line as far as consumer, within reason range. And then he said he doesn't know what happened. Either somebody else was making their lenses or they went all plastic, something or other. He just said mead really dropped the ball.
Yeah, I actually didn't. I mean, I remember that being one of the first ones I had was a mead. And then years later, it wasn't the one you went after. I did know that in looking at them again, probably, a good 10, 15 years before I got into flat earth again. Because I would go through phases of like, oh, it's been a while. I need a new telescope kind of thing. And trying to find an affordable, nothing crazy. And yeah, they definitely were not the go-to ones in the last, 10, 15 years for sure. And I had never really even kept up with anything after that. Just saw this one there at this garage sale or estate sale or whatever we were at, and
we
made an
we
offer.
had this guy on. You guys know Achilles 7 channel?
Seems like I may have heard somebody talking about it. Maybe you.
Yeah, he was. He had like the 12-inch, big giant mead. Big collecting aperture on there and all that kind of stuff. And he was like super into astronomy, like looking at at Jupiter rotating and stuff like that, taking pictures and time lapses and all this stuff. And then he would compare it to NASA. And then he realized on his own that he got a different thing than NASA did. Like, why is NASA showing this? And why is mine so close to NASA's? If they get millions and millions a year and they're, have all this equipment, why are my pictures almost as good as NASA's? And why is it at this point so different? Like, he noticed the timing was different than what NASA was telling them about the moon's orbiting around. This is how he became a flat earther. By looking up in the sky and realizing that what NASA was telling him was wrong. Yeah, really cool channel. And if you like dirt biking, he does a lot of that too. He had a bunch of that on his channel. But it wasn't like a flat earth channel or an astronomy channel. It was just a channel, just sharing what he likes, things he likes to do. But he said mead was like your average consumer, top of the line back in the 80s. Like, some of the best ones you could buy for, he spent a few grand on his back in the 80s. But he said there's this other type of telescope. I forget who makes them. But he said the little ones, the 3-inch ones, start off at like $190,000.
Yeah, Zach, wasn't he just on Globebusters recently?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jaron
a couple weeks ago.
Him and then
yeah, he likes to talk. Oh, a 14-inch. Yeah, he had a 14-inch. But amazing photos that he was getting. Just amazing photos. But yeah, he was talking about these they start off at like almost $200,000 for these telescopes. He said he's never even looked through one, never even seen one. But they're out there. What could possibly be the difference between a Meade telescope, a big, is it made out of pure gold? I'm sure it's made out of brass or something like that. But $190,000 for a 3-inch telescope. Dan Morris, it's a Achilles 7. I'll go find it real quick. I'll drop it in chat. Yeah, some really awesome photos though that he's found.
Yeah, it's really interesting you're bringing that up because I was just looking up like high-end telescopes, like really high-end telescopes for like consumer grade, and the most expensive one that I could find was like $45,000, and that was for like an 8-inch or something like that.
Wow. No, this isn't it. Oh, that's dirty. When was this made? 2016. Okay. No, I can't find the channel. I'm going to have to go into my subscriptions. Yeah, he is definitely shadow banned big time. One of those where you search his name. Oh, and I'm no longer subscribed to him either. Thanks, YouTube.
So according to Zombie Snoop there in chat, Crow 777 said mead used to be made in the U.S. Now they're made in Tijuana, and that's when the quality declined.
Wow. Yeah, I think I remember Crow talking about that as well too. Now that Zombie mentions that, hell, it might have been. Sorry, Josh.
I was just gonna say it's hard to believe that's already been the first segment.
What?
Yeah, got about 60 seconds. According to the clock, I don't know how right the clock is compared to the time. It does.
Thank you, Liz. Liz dropped the Achilles 7 link in the chat. It only took 2 weeks, and I was unsubbed from him.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, I was correct. I'm already subbed, so I knew someone had told me about it.
You know, you can buy.
Yeah, but he's one of those.
Anything with 7 in the name. Oop, yeah, we all did it. Go.
Yeah, I was just saying, I just blew my mind that he figured out NASA was lying by comparing what he saw through the telescope to what they were showing. And he realized, wow, NASA's full of shit. That's awesome.
Yeah, I can remember time and time again, mostly it was Mom early on, and then me and my siblings later going, what I'm looking at through this telescope doesn't look anything like the box or the pictures that NASA shows us or any of that. I can see the moon really good. Man, all that other crap, it's not there. Not like on my box here.
Speaking of the moon, have you seen or heard about Samsung's new feature that someone took a picture of a white disc, like a plain white disc, and the moon features appeared on it? Like the camera thought they were trying to take a picture of the moon.
You're never, ever going to feel like doing the things you need to do in order to have what you want. You're always going to need to push yourself. You're always going to need to parent yourself. So what is the net advice on this? What is the bottom line? The bottom line is no one's coming. No one. No one's coming to push you. No one's coming to tell you to turn the TV off. No one's coming to tell you to get out the door and exercise. Nobody's coming to tell you to apply for that job that you've always dreamt about. Nobody's coming to write the business plan for you. It's up to you. And because you're only ever going to do the things that you feel like doing right now, that feel good right now, unless you understand that you've got to parent yourself, you have to push yourself, you're not going to make your dreams come true. You're just not.
The reviews for Extendivite are amazing. Here are some from Amazon. By Christine, great for heart palpitations. By Ann, before I started using this product, every afternoon my ankles and my hands would be swollen. That doesn't happen anymore. So if that part of their advertising is true, I have to assume that the rest of it is also. Not to mention that when I had my yearly blood test, only a few weeks after beginning to use this product, my cholesterol had dropped over 30 points. I'm going to continue to take it. By Croc, I love this product. It really works. By Brad, works great, thank you. Tell us your story. Get your Extendivite today. To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendivite.
For 5,000 years, the world was ruled with wooden ships by one man. 242 years ago, a small group of free men crafted a new nation, built on liberty and freedom. Global elites have been fighting to destroy this new nation called America ever since. Based on actual events, Charm of Favor tells a true story of how they corrupted the election system. They infiltrated federal agencies and murdered witnesses, judges, and even presidents to keep from being caught. Now, the largest and wealthiest crime syndicate the world has ever known has been drawn out of the shadows. They have killed hundreds of Americans and recently attempted to assassinate half our congressmen. Still, they escape arrest through an almost supernatural charm of favor. Read Charm of Favor and be prepared to open your eyes to what may lie just around the corner. Charm of Favor is available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
No hate, no hype, no fear.
You're listening to Truth Frequency Radio.
We are TFR.
Start your day off bright and shiny. Get up off your little hiney and begin your happy day.
Yeah, we'll just call that the second half of the first half. Welcome back.
I guess. Not really sure what happened there.
That's just the way it goes, you know.
What was I rambling about right before the break? Anybody remember? I don't know.
I got to tell you, once I hit the head, my brain blanks.
You were talking about Achilles 7.
There was something he started right before. That was
right before, yeah. Too early. That's all right. Must not have been that important.
Hopefully somebody in chat will remember. Because I remember it being interesting.
Well,
yeah, I
good
knew I
morning,
should have waited.
everybody. There was one thing I wanted to try and chime in a little bit. We were talking about this on Friday after the show was over, and I think it was Zack saying that I was asking about volcanoes, and I think, Zack, you were saying that Dave, Mr. Weiss, doesn't believe the volcanoes are what they appear to be.
Yeah, what we're told. Like magma tubes coming through the mantle and all that kind of stuff and being, you know. Yeah.
I would love to hear a lot more about that because
I need to hear a whole lot more about all of that because I can remember early on with Mark's stuff going, Mark, okay, and let's, you know, what's going on there? And then when he came on the show, I kind of tried to go in that direction and he didn't go that way. And then, yeah, when was it Aaron Dover that kept putting out videos about that same idea that, you know, showing people walking on lava, but it's not real. And I'm like, there's a disconnect here I'm not getting. Just not getting. You know, Hawaii. And I have to hear it. I have to understand it. I have to have someone explain to me what they think is going on there because don't get it, Bob.
Oh, yeah. Fake Samsung moon photos.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, that's a feature, Zach. That's not that's what that is. You know, today in this modern era, we use face assisting features to make sure when they take a photo of your pretty little smiling dimples that, you know, all the red eyes gone and all the wrinkles are smoothed out and all the sag is magically lifted because that's what you get on your gram, baby, is the pretty pictures. So why not, if you're going to take a picture of the man in the moon, have a filter for his face as well, right? So he's pretty. Now, really, the Samsung people came out and said, yeah, this is a feature we have so that when you're taking a picture of the moon, it sees the moon picture you're taking and it goes right ahead and tweaks it for you and gives you a better image. Now, they didn't exactly explain how that white circle became the moon, but hey, you know, feature,
Yeah,
not a bug.
I just watched a video of it, dude. It's crazy. He just points it at this white disc, and then all of a sudden the moon just goes poop and pops up in there. All the features of it.
It's a feature.
Yeah. And Karen B has been so amazed because Ted's been taking pictures with his Samsung phone of the moon with really high detail.
Really?
Like,
I would like to see them because the day I bought this phone with its space zoom and took a photo of a pretty full moon as it was just easing up into the orange horizon area, and pushed click and went, okay, and then zoomed in to like 20% and click and like, okay, and then did the full, whatever it was, 100%. Click, and I'm looking at these pictures, and to me, at that point, 3 pictures into my moon taking with my amazing space zoom, I said to myself, well, those just look like somebody superimposed a fake picture of the moon in the sky. And that was the day I bought this camera back in whatever it was, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. When all that space zoom was selling these phones left and right, I said immediately that doesn't look like the real photo of the moon. I've taken many of them back with my other cameras on my other phones, HTC and the early Samsungs, and with this strapped on lens that I had on there and had some really excellent features that looked real. None of the pictures I've taken with this phone have ever looked real before all this was discovered. So yeah, it's pretty fake.
Wouldn't it be real
I would
convenient?
like to see good ones. Sir?
I was gonna say, wouldn't it be real convenient just instead of their goofy, hey, we'll fix your moon photos for you so you get a better moon photo? It seems like a lot of software, a lot of coding. Couldn't they just add a hyperlink to other people's stock photos of the moon?
I know, isn't it?
Hey, if you want a good picture of the moon, here's where you can buy one. What a feature.
I mean, but that doesn't sell your phone.
Why not?
That did before.
You can just throw in some interesting buzzwords. If whatever picture you take isn't even your picture at the end, well, what fucking difference does it make if you're using stock footage or digital manipulation to recreate some picture that you never took? I just think the coding would be a lot easier just to add a little hyperlink for stock photos of somebody else's good moon photos, if you want to take a good moon photo.
Logan Cook brings up a really interesting point. I wonder how accurate the phasing is through the feature as well as the orientation depending upon location. Because every time you look at the moon, it's doing that wagon wheel thing through the sky, just like the sun is. And it's all about your perspective.
Probably got to add your GPS tags to it or some shit. So
yeah, it probably just already knows.
Date and time. Yeah.
But that'd be interesting. I wonder, Walter, if you take a picture with that through different times throughout the day of just a white circle and have the moon pop up there, is it going to be, or what if it's like you're taking a picture of a white thing, but you're not supposed to even see the moon? Would you see some kind of thing that you would normally never see, like the orientation? Or would it know, hey, that's not the moon because the moon is invisible to you? Yeah, that's a great question, Logan. I wonder what happens. Because, yeah, depending on, if you're looking at it at rise and then at set, the moon is definitely going to look different to you. The features are going to be in different places.
I'm sure they're on top of it. Seriously, why would they not have accounted for that, too? Kind of would have to, if you're looking up and see the rabbit on his head or whatever your imagery is, you would have to have that when you took the picture, so it would have to match, I would think. I don't know. I did
It's
go out
crazy.
immediately and do a test on this whole thing, because I saw.
Live tested. So we're for Glowbusters.
Oh, what happened? I was talking away, and then I see Spot stepped on the thing. Sorry. I was just saying, yeah. As soon as I saw the fake pictures, I was pretty much done with that camera and didn't care. In fact, it broke the cover of it. When you have a great house full of cats that like to knock stuff off, it broke early on. The plastic or the glass or whatever was covering that little area of the camera. I didn't even care enough to go get all that fixed under my warranty that I had because I didn't care. The camera sucked. Anyway, let's move on from the bad Samsung camera.
Yeah, and there's been we had an interesting Glowbuster show Sunday talking about magnetic declination, and Austin brought up some really great points, especially about the South. The magnetic declination they give us on the maps in the South is not something that we should be seeing on the globe Earth. Even on the flat Earth map, it's hard to make a whole lot of sense out of the southern lands and how it works. But then it got us to questioning, well, if they're giving us false data on the southern lands, what if the northern lands aren't correct either? What if that whole, the clover of life, the 4-leaf pattern that we see in the magnetic fields we're given, what if those aren't correct either? And we thought about it. So we thought, hey, let's all find our magnetic declination from where we are. How do we do that? How do you find perfect true north from your position without using a compass? Because a compass, even they say, unless you're in a certain spot on Earth, very rarely are you at 0 degrees declination. There are some spots, but to be pointing true north with your compass is not the norm. Most places on Earth, you have to adjust for your declination. And one way of finding true north is using the sun. That's solar noon. You can go to timeanddate.com and it'll tell you from your location. You can type in your longitude, latitude, to the, 8th decimal place if you want to really get it down. But it'll tell you when solar noon is at your location. And that's just the time when the sun is passing directly south of you and will be at its highest zenith point. It'll be the highest in the sky that day. Now, if you didn't want to trust timeanddate.com, you can also check this with a sextant, which I've done as well. And time and date, pretty accurate, I got to say. Same with, the U.S. Naval Observatory. They're all pretty right on when they tell you where the sun is. Now, atmospheric conditions, I think over 8 months, 2 different times I measured the sun, and it was 2 degrees off from where it was supposed to be. But that was at sunrise or sunset, never midday. Usually midday, it's going to be right on. There's not going to be as much atmospheric distortion going on when the sun is directly above your head. So you find out, you pick a stick, a nice straight stick, pole, it could even be like a barbecue skewer, something like that. It doesn't have to be like a big giant stick or anything. And you stick it in the ground so it can cast a shadow. Then at solar noon, once you find out when solar noon is, you already want your first stick in the ground. But at solar noon, when they tell you solar noon is, you stick the other stick in the ground and line it up with the first stick's shadow. And then you could take a string and connect the 2 sticks, and that string will be facing directly north-south. Then you take your compass, put it right underneath that string, let it line up, and that should be your magnetic declination. Now, there's another way to do it. We're going to be going over that on Glowbusters Tech, where you have to go out and mark position. Karen B did it. It's complicated. You have to travel a little bit, but now the way I just explained to you is not nearly as accurate as the way Karen did it. Karen had it down to like the 10th of a degree, like perfect. Where this one is, I mean, it's going to be real close. But the way that she did it is much more accurate. And we're going to be covering that on Glowbusters Tech Thursday. But what we would like to do is to test against the data we're given to see if we even get this 4-leaf clover pattern at all. I mean, if we don't know the actual shape of the field, trying to rebuild this realm in a model it's not going to work the way it actually works in nature if we don't have good data. So, I mean, all you need to do this test with us, make this observation with us and help us out is 2 sticks and a compass. Yeah, I've been playing with my compass. I went and dug it out of my bug out bag. Been sitting in there for years. It points like 165 degrees off to the southeast for some reason. No clue why. It's not like directly 180 off. It's off like, 165 degrees, not 180. It's weird. It's like 15 degrees off to the southeast. And yeah, I don't know what I did to it. I do have Jaren's like, I don't want to hear it. You got Tesla coils and generators and all kinds of giant magnets in there. He's like, you messed it up. But I don't see how I could polarize it and not be, totally polarized the opposite way, where it's off a little bit and it keeps doing that 15-degree jaunt to the southeast. I don't know. I'm going to have to get a new one. But yeah, we want some help with this. We really need people. I mean, we have the U.S. pretty well covered. I mean, we have Utah, the Carolinas, and then I don't even know. But we could use more help. We need more help to figure out if these declination measurements that we're given are accurate.
Well, Zach, I'm over here on the West Coast, and there's a whole bunch of other flat earthers that I've met up with around here, and we would be happy to help out in any way we can. And Jaren's also not too far away, so we can all chip in and work together.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, out there, since the magnetic declination, the way it works, we really need people at different longitudes. That's what we're looking for. Latitude, yeah, a little bit. But these lines are so north-south running compared to the east-west. There's a little bit of change in the east-west, or the north-south, but it's mostly east to west where the magnetic declination really, differs. And then we need some people from other parts of the plane. The further south we can get, the better. Because that's where it really starts getting wonky. And they'll say it's like sometimes 90 degrees off, 75 degrees off to where you're facing like almost due east.
Well, that's what Iru can probably help out quite a bit with that, because I think he's back in Brazil now, isn't he?
Yeah, but he's heading back to Switzerland here real soon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Not Brazil, though. The one that's far south, Argentina.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know how they are down there in South America when you get countries wrong, but I know some places don't like that. Yeah, some places get it.
Well, Argentina is like the California of South America.
Ooh, damn.
Oh, them's fighting words. Calling another place California. I'm just messing with you, Andrew.
Yeah, I hate California. We got.
If it wasn't for your politicians, it'd be a beautiful state.
I agree. It is a wonderful state, aside from the politics and politicians, yeah, and the taxes and the gases and.
Well, yeah, that all comes with the politicians, right there. Yeah, I mean, Jaren has always talked about how much he loves California. He really has. I mean, he's been there his whole life and everything, but yeah, it's a beautiful state. Even their deserts are gorgeous.
Yeah, the wonderful thing about California is that we have a very diverse type of a landscape. If you go all the way up north, like towards Oregon, it's just all redwoods, just heavily forested. You get down south, it's just all desert. And then right in the middle is all farmland. And a lot of people are not even aware of this, that California produces about 25% of the agriculture for the entire country. I mean, we have a large amount of farmland, like out by where Jaron is at. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah.
Oh, I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds of miles in a row that are. It's just pure farmland everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I know they produce a whole lot of agriculture there. How are you guys doing in the drought? Are you guys coming out of it? I know you got a whole bunch of water there real quick all at once, but is it staying?
I haven't heard anything about a drought lately. Because we had.
Have you guys been getting rain frequently?
Well, yeah, in the springtime we had an excessive amount of rain to the point where it was almost going to flood in some areas. So I don't think we're going to have any issues with that. But I mean, the reservoirs look like they're pretty good still.
Nice. Yeah, it's weird out west how they have the rain season. Like out east, it rains pretty regularly. I noticed that down in Florida too. Their winters, they barely got any rain. That blew my mind. I thought it rained every day, like down near Tampa. He was like, yeah, in the summertime, pretty much every day, you're going to get some kind of rain almost. But during their winter, it's not nearly as much. That blew my mind. I had no idea. I had only been down there in the summer times. Yeah, are you allowed to water your lawn and stuff like that, Andrew, out there in California?
Yeah, I was just about to say that to Ian in chat. Well, I live in a condo, that I own. So I live in an HOA, and they have sprinklers that come on only during like the spring, summer, fall kind of time. But then they shut them off in the winter. So yeah, they still water the lawn. Yeah.
Yeah, I know in Denver when they start getting droughty, they limit water in your lawn only certain times of the day, and not allowed to wash your cars. And yeah, that's crazy to think of. Out east, I've never had like northern Indiana. Like if it doesn't rain for 3 weeks, we consider that a drought, a long drought. And I remember, this one time I was probably like 13, 14. It rained for like over 2 weeks straight. Like not a little bit every day, but a lot every day. To where even the football fields and stuff had grass that was almost knee high. I mean, it was everywhere you looked. Every park, everybody's yards, everything. The grass was like knee high everywhere. I will never forget that. Only time I've ever seen that happen was that 1 year for that few weeks.
Yeah, it's really weird how certain parts of the country get a lot more rain than other parts. And I don't understand or even like when I was in Thailand, there are certain parts of the world that will just like, it'll flash rain for 5 minutes and then it just goes right away. But it does it like 3 or 4 times like a week.
I've noticed it rains a lot harder out east than it does like in Colorado. We had when Cammy's brother was here, Vince, we had an okay rain. It was coming down in big drops and falling pretty fast. It was nowhere near like a downpour. We've been here to where you can't see the creek in the back from the windows because the rain is just coming down so hard. Sounds like a freight train. That's a good rain to me. And this, he looked out there, he's like, man, it is raining hard. And me and Cammy just both looked at him and started laughing. He's like, no, this isn't hard. He was like, well, it's hard for me. It's like, you guys know we don't get this kind of stuff out in Denver. But yeah, the amount that the rain falls, at which it accumulates, seems out east to be a lot more than it is out west. Well, not for every place, but it's just different world. I've never been to the Northwest, Northern California or up. I hear it's
All right, so
gorgeous.
you want to hear something really weird about rain? When I was in Iraq, deployed out, in the desert area, it didn't rain very much. But when it did rain, it would rain mud for about the first 3 or 4 minutes because there was so much dirt in the air. It was just all the rain was just collecting all that dust and dirt, and it would just rain mud on you for a few minutes. It was weird.
Wow. Yeah, when I was out there in the desert in Arizona and New Mexico, I had the rain was following me around, and it wouldn't rain. You could stand out in it and not get wet. But it was precipitation. These are places where they get like less than a quarter inch of rainfall a year. And it wasn't the springtime, their rainy season. But yeah, like 3 different places I stopped. I remember the park rangers being like, man, what's going on with this weather? It usually doesn't rain this time of year. I was like, I was just down in Silver City and it was raining on me down there. Then I was in Las Cruces and it was raining on me there. You must be like a rain magnet or something. One of the guys was telling me. Yeah,
What are you doing?
I'm starting to miss the desert a little bit. No dances or nothing like that. Just, yeah. Taking pictures, lots of pictures. Yeah, that was in the Oregon Mountains. I think that's southwest New Mexico, maybe. Weird mountain range. I'd like somebody like Stellium to go check out that mountain range. It's weird looking, weird formations. But yeah, that's where I saw my first wild tarantula spider.
Oof.
I got out of the truck and was getting down close and taking all kinds of pictures. Yeah, it wasn't like a huge one. It was probably like the size of my fist without my fingers extended at all.
That is creepy as hell, but that's the second half of the first half, gentlemen.
Wow.
If they're not playing break music now, they will be playing break music in the very near future. I just don't really get to hear it, so we don't know when there's a break coming until it starts.
Right. Speaking of the desert, Vegas!
Vegas, baby!
And Zach, if you or anybody else wants to go to Hoover Dam and do a tour while over there.
Commercial coming now.
Hi, my name is Ella, and I'm 10 years old.
Drink.
I'm one of the millions of children born to parents suffering from the sheeple virus. Symptoms include the inability to think for oneself, the attention span of a goldfish, and a strong belief in government and the mainstream media. It is estimated that 1 out of every 2 children are being raised by parents infected with the sheeple virus. But there is a cure. For as little as 19 cents per day, you can become a TFR supporter and help children like me get their daily dose of truth. Together, we will make sure every child has protection from deception.
Phony polls, I have to call them phony polls, election interference, fake polls, suppression polls. If you count the legal votes, I easily win. If you count the illegal votes, we can't let that happen. This is a case where they're trying to steal an election. They're trying to rig an election, winning all the key locations. The observers have kept far away. So far, that people are using binoculars very far away. Votes have been in by election day. And they weren't. Votes are coming in after Election Day. Votes have been in by Election Day, and they weren't. Votes would be in by Election Day.
Wow! All the networks. Those mail-in ballots could have been for anybody. Will Smith's father voted here twice since he died. All of them. Oh, my goodness. Kind of funny. But there was fraud. One of the things that does involve fraud is not making it possible to infect. Gee, what happened? Come on, don't be ridiculous. Well, the networks thought Biden was going to win by 10%.
Votes have been in by Election Day, and they weren't. Votes are coming in after Election Day. Votes have been in by Election Day, and they weren't. Votes would be in by Election Day.
You are now tuned into the truth frequency.
TFR. TFR.
Truth Frequency Radio.
Good morning. I'm here.
Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up! Wake up!
What is dark matter?
Okay, we don't know.
That's great. That's why it's called dark.
It's exactly.
Everyone knows all reputable information comes from random people on the internet. Tell me things, internet. The earth is flat. It's like school in your hand.
Dark matter is something we do not know what it is. We believe the dark matter is there, but we have never detected it. Well, I'm afraid of course, that there is no dark matter out there. There was one? There is no dark matter out there. We need to think really hard, to think really hard, to think really hard, to think really hard.
Hi, this is Alan. I like Ironworx because it's where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came.
I love Ironworx with Josh, Walt, and Zack. It's like sitting in your front room having a cozy chat with your best friends.
Hi, it's Diva here, and I just want you to know that Ironworx with Josh, Walt, and Zack, it's definitely my favourite dose of reality. Come join the family and keep it flat.
Why sleep in when you could get your dose of iron in the morning? Listen to the Ironworx on TFR.
This is Enlightened Dawn. Roses are red, violets are blue. Iron Realm Media is the best on the planet. To the show, I will forever be true. You guys are truly the best, and I love you guys. I'm so thankful to have you in my life.
Do you like listening to space letters from Never a Straight Answer? Then tune in to the Ironworx with Zack, Walter, and Josh. Break clear of the fear on the Ironworx and become an Iron Scout.
And welcome back to the first half of the second half of the Ironworx right here on Truth Frequency Radio, TFRlive.com. Vegas, baby. For those of you that are going to Vegas, which is where we left off at the bottom of the hour.
I think there's still like 25 tickets for the early bird. I know the first 100 ticket sales are going to be discount prices, but I know they're going pretty quick. I think it's 23. Actually, well, that was as of yesterday in the AM when Karen B was doing her coffee talk show. Yeah, he got his tickets for he and Paige, and I guess the hotel. Get your room soon. You plan on staying in the hotel.
Yeah, the earlier you book your flight and your hotel rooms, the cheaper it is. So don't delay.
Well, now, if that's true, how early do I have to book it to get it to be free?
17 years.
Yeah, I was going to say 17 years ago, yeah.
How far ahead can you book a hotel room?
At least a year, I think.
Can you be like, in 2028, I would like a hotel room, blah, 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 and pay for it now?
Hell yeah, you can.
It's a good way to save a lot of money on your vacations for the future. Just pay for them all now, and 20 years, yeah, you don't know what that place is going to look like in 20 years.
Exactly. You know how they would really appreciate advanced bookings like that. We'll book everything for 10 years out, and at 9 years out, we'll go under. Fuckers.
Yep. Yeah, this area is changing quite a bit right here. The Spartanburg, Greenville area is still getting lots of people moving to it. Lots of new subdivisions going up. Yeah, it's starting to look like Northwest Indiana when Chicago has started moving in. Just subdivisions going up everywhere and farm fields going away. It's sad.
So I've got a question. I'm not sure if it was a coincidence or if it was planned, but when Bob and Cammie and yourself moved out to the Carolinas, that was like right where Karen was at. Was that a coincidence, or was that just sort of a planned situation? Because you guys live pretty close to each other, right?
Yeah, it's like 33 miles crows fly from doorstep to doorstep, actually. It's crazy. So it's not like right down the road, but no, definitely. Cammie had came and visited Karen for a few weeks back in, I think it was like 2018, 2019, something like that. Maybe early 2019. And she just fell in love with the forest and just everything out here. And yeah, when Karen had the Flatoberfest, the first one, we had flown out, and Bob felt great. He felt better than being up in Denver. And yeah, that was like it right there. That convinced Bob to at least come out this way and, look around, see if he can't find a place. Because we did not have a house when we came out here. We came out here and rented a B&B for a month. And during that month, they went house hunting. And it was crazy. It was like within the first week, they had the house. Houses were going so fast. They would call and the realtor would be like, okay, we can go show you this house here. And then I'll see you there in about an hour. And then 20 minutes later, they'd call back, oh, the house is in escrow, or the house is, sold, waiting to, yeah. I mean, they were going like hotcakes. So when they saw this one, and Cammie saw that creek in the back, and Bob saw her face light up, he was like, yep, we'll take it. They were just going so quick that they didn't want to lose the opportunity to get this one. Yeah, a lot of people, and they bought at the right time. They really did, because the value has gone up, I mean, over 30%, which is just crazy when you think about it. But yeah, in under 2 years, the value of the house increased by 30% just from the location. So any way you look at it, they made a pretty good penny just buying this house.
Real estate is one of the things that has made my parents very wealthy, because one of the things that they taught me at a young age was if you are renting, you're paying for someone else's mortgage.
Yeah.
So,
oh, yeah. And some. Yeah.
But there's a lot to be said for paying for somebody else's mortgage, because then when your air conditioner breaks, then Not your air conditioner. But they need to get there and their fucking house owning ass over there to fix your air conditioner.
Yeah, I've lived in both situations. I've been a renter and now I'm a homeowner, and I would still much rather be a homeowner than a renter because I can fix my own air conditioner and my own wall outlets and lights and drywall and stuff like that. But if you're a renter, you have to have a scheduled time for your landlord to come and replace it and fix it for you, or have someone else come by and do it. And if it's at as an example, if a renter burns down their kitchen, that's not the the landlord's responsibility. That's the renter. They have to fix it on their own. I know there's a lot of ups and downs to renting and buying and that kind of thing.
I'm pretty sure, at least in Missouri, that's not right. I mean, I could get renter's insurance and I could insure my shit that I'm storing in your place, but if your kitchen burns down that I'm living in, it ain't my fault. Something must have been wrong with your wiring. I don't know.
Okay, that might have been an extreme example, but so I was the property manager for my parents' apartment complex, and we had one tenant that had their oven. It broke like twice in a row in a few years. And it was because she was just overusing it. And at one point, my dad said, "No, we're not going to pay for a new oven every couple of years because you're overusing it and you're abusing it." So at that point, they had to start buying their own ovens.
I don't know about that one.
Yeah. Did you take money off the rent for now that you've adjusted how the rental agreement? Did you adjust for the adjustment?
I was just the property manager. I didn't deal with the rent or anything like that.
Yeah, because I'm not sure that's terribly kosher. At least I don't think it would be kosher in Missouri.
Yeah, I bet it's different state to state with the renters' laws and all that kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
I know squatters' laws are different, and yeah, they're always it's weird from state to state. So we've been joined. I would like to. I'm getting better at this. Unkululeko.
That was really good.
What is up, Nuka-Cola? What's up, brother?
Hey, hello, guys. Hello, everyone.
How did I do pronouncing your name? Was that okay? Unkululeko?
It was perfect.
All right. I'm getting better. No more Duma. I was just calling you Duma forever.
Most people call me Duma anyway. I'm doing great, guys. How's everyone? I thought I was going to sneak in under the radar here till the end of the show.
No, doing great, man. The sun's coming around, so I'm good. Everything in my life is beautiful.
And where are you located at?
Durban, South Africa.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, and things have been still staying pretty calm. I know it got hairy there for you for a while, but last time we spoke to you, you said things are getting a little bit better.
Yeah, things are good. Things are trudging on. We still get blackouts every day because of the power grid, but
every day?
Yeah, we get, depending on your schedule, because everyone has a different schedule. You don't have power for 2 hours, like in the morning, then you don't have power for like 2 hours in the evening. So 4 days, so 4 hours. So you get 20 hours of electricity.
Do you just not open your refrigerators and stuff at that time? And how does that work?
It's happened so often now for the last, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years. In waves. Sometimes we have no, we call it load shedding here instead of a blackout. Sometimes you'll go months without having any issues, and then they'll say generator broke down or there's been copper theft, something like that. And then for the next few months, you get it. So, you just live with it. Most people have generators now.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, South Africa is a very interesting place because this was actually one of the trivia questions that I asked. I think it was between Zack and Jaren. South Africa is the only country that has 3 capital cities.
Yeah, we spoke about that the last time I was on here as well.
Yeah,
that they all cover different parts of government and how the politics system works here.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we did talk about that. Yeah, okay. I recall that.
Anyway, guys, I said it in chat that the last time I was here, I remember Walter posted a link. Some guy with a weird name, or it was a woman actually, a YouTube channel that I got to check out, and some of the affiliates on there, and they were talking about the crater Earth theory and the moon maps and all of that.
Yeah,
So
I'm
I've
just playing
been,
catch up in chat with all of this. There's apparently just a whole lot going on here. So we recently had a gentleman on, Wrong Think, or better known as Wrong Think, who put forth a pretty amazing moving forward of the idea of the Earth map being reflected on the moon. I see a lot of things in chat that I really need to address, but okay. We all got here by going, hey, you know what? We were fed lies our whole lives. So let's open our minds and look at shit with new eyes. And yet, within this last couple of years, that seems to not be the case any longer. Now it's pretty much, oh, we got it all figured out, and anything new is crazy. And it's getting a little frustrating for me when I'm here to do research and look for truth, and I'm open to pretty much any idea, and I'll look at it with an open mind. So it's a little frustrating when I see all the backlash against something that is pretty amazing if you open your mind and look at it. We had a gentleman on here who went into how he uses contrast to bring out features on the on the moon, which are then verified with terrestrial maps in every way you can possibly imagine. There's a video, it's about 12 minutes long. You can watch it. You can watch it a couple times. You can watch it 100 times and wrap your head around it. And if you have any questions about it, he is an amazing gentleman to speak to. He takes pretty much everything in stride, and including a bunch of backlash against these new ideas. I actually was talking with about this idea with our good old buddy James, the Full Armor OG, just a few nights ago, because he also has gone down in that rabbit hole that Better Think has opened again, and gotten to looking at it, and has really got an interesting take on it that we both kind of had this aha moment with just a couple of nights ago. And I had hoped he would be on in a few weeks to be able to bring that up, but it looks like we're not going to quite make it happen like I hoped immediately, and it's going to probably be a good month out now. So I'm just going to throw it out there. You guys remember some footage that has bandied around here recently in the last year or four? A gentleman, I guess around 1965, a scientist being interviewed about the upcoming trip of man landing on the moon, and him saying there's no way man will ever land on the moon because the moon is a plasma object.
Plasma.
And so that really, when I saw, and I hadn't seen that footage in a long time. I haven't seen that footage since the new stuff that better known as Wrong Think has been putting forth on his idea of the reflected map. And I started thinking, plasma. So I went and I looked up plasma mirrors, and guess what? In certain instances, plasma does cast quite a reflection. So if the moon is a plasma object, it being able to cast a reflection of what we're standing on, sitting on, laying on, whatever we're doing here, I don't see that being a whole big mind stretcher. Again, I've watched the video numerous times. He and I have had quite a few conversations away from the show, and I really can't wait to see what's coming next. I see there's been quite a bit of pushback on it. I see some confusion in chat. Someone talking about crater Earth, and they brought up the B. Louis twice baked potato asteroid Earth. That's not what we're talking about here. This idea of the crater Earth, I guess, is that the certain crater, quote unquote, of the moon is where the flat Earth map currently resides. You know, they've been called craters since we were kids, and that's hard to break, and I get that. Dark areas, mares, oceans, whatever you want to call them there on the moon, definitely not craters in any sense of an explosive impact by a body from millions of miles an hour. Anyway, I feel like I'm getting a little spun out here, but definitely I will be reaching back out to Better Known as Wrong Think and having him back for the next part where we get into things like the fractal nature of reality and the fractal nature of this place that we live in and electromagnetics and bending of reality with magnet waves and just all kind of interesting stuff. But definitely, I don't know. I'm just really astounded at some of the blowback that seems to be going on out there.
Walter, can you please send me the episode number for
Surely, absolutely.
episode where he was on and he did his presentation?
Yep, I have it pretty handy. I just sent it to James the other night. Hang on one moment. So where are you? Like, where is your thought processes, Noka, with this whole idea?
I think like everything, just confused, but very, very interested.
Right. Well, that to me is the best place to start from. Confused, but hey, let me see what you got. Not just completely, there's no way. There's lots of ways. We're in it.
I give it more credence than Eric Dubay telling us that the Earth is moving up now, and that's why there's gravity and all of that crap. So
I don't think Eric Dubay is actually saying that. He was
Dubay's not
critiquing it.
saying that. He was maybe critiquing it.
I know Dell is saying
Dell's
that,
all
but
over it, though.
yeah, I think Eric actually made a video about Dell, like saying this is insane. I don't know. I haven't.
Yeah, no,
seen
he
an
did
Eric
indeed.
video in a while.
He definitely was coming down on the negative side of this idea.
So I've got a question about being in South Africa. How far are you from like the very southern tip of South Africa?
I'm by the ocean.
Oh, really? Okay. And have you ever tried to take a camera or a telescope out and look towards Antarctica?
There's no way I can see Antarctica. It's too far away.
Well, I understand it's pretty far away, but I'm just wondering if it's even possible to see even a little bit.
Nah, not a chance. I mean, I've been up on a plane flying over the city and the beach and with a camera and a telescope in the plane, and there's no way you can see it. It's just too far away.
So what is the distance? Do you know?
No, I don't think I know the exact distance. But from what I've seen with a telescope and a Nikon P900 and being up in the air a couple of thousand feet in a plane, I still couldn't see it.
Okay. One day I want to go to South Africa because there's a whole bunch of stuff out there I want to experience.
Oh, there's lots of curves here. There's lots of curves in South Africa if you visit the strip club.
Yeah, it's
lots of curves.
3,184 miles from South Africa to Antarctica, we're told. Over 3,000.
There's no way you could see that.
Yeah, no way. That's a haul.
I thought it was a lot closer.
I know. You would think it would be. On the maps and everything, it doesn't look like it's... How far is it from South America?
I think South America is probably closer to Antarctica than us.
Well, there's Australia, South America, and South Africa. Those are the three closest countries.
Oh, it's only 600 miles from the tip of South America to Antarctica. That would be an interesting, if somebody could see that. Get up on a mountain somewhere down there near South America. look out towards Antarctica and see if you can see anything? Because I know in Antarctica already, like sailors have said, they've seen like islands off in the distance that they thought were like 50 miles away. And then in reality, it was like 200 miles away. Something happens out there, and when it gets real cold and they're out there, there's been multiple accounts of people seeing way too far out in the southern oceans, just way too far. Or the maps are really wrong. And, oh, no, that can't be it, because it looks like the island's right there. You could see it. So map or no map, you see this island, and it's like, oh, I can go there. It's just right there. But it seems like the closer you get to it, the further away it starts looking. Kind of like that Mark Sargent building, where the building looks like it's right around the bend of that curve. And then as the closer he gets to it, the building is like off in the distance on this little island with a bunch of space in between you and it now.
All right, so I've got a hypothetical question for you guys. And I know that most people cannot afford this, including myself. But if you were able to afford to go to Antarctica for, what, a couple days or something, would you do it?
No. Not me. I have no want at all to go to Antarctica. None whatsoever. It's cold. I left Indiana because it was too cold.
5 years ago, I lay in a cold area of the plane in a very cold room debating that very question. Would I be able to subject myself to that environment seeking knowledge or not? And at that point, it was a very real question for me. It wasn't just a high in the sky question of like, oh, maybe one day. It was literally at my feet, about to happen. So it's one of those things where, I've been in some pretty extreme environments working over the years. Whole watch in West Texas, probably the coldest I've ever been in my life. And don't know if that's something I could do or would do, but definitely the idea is quite appealing. I think I do actually hear break music this time around.
That's strange. Wow. Nice. That makes things real convenient. That way we can kind of talk it up and talk it out. But we are coming up to the fourth and final segment of the Ironworx right here on Truth Frequency Radio, TFRlive.com. Appreciate everybody hanging out with us this morning. Who knows? We've got a pile of space lettuce. Hopefully we might dig into at least some of it. And who the hell knows what else? Stick around. We'll be right back.
I engaged in this the big share of my life until I met Mr. Show. I used to blame my negative relatives. I used to blame the government. I used to blame taxes. I used to blame prices. I said, it costs too much. Show said, no, let's cover the real problem. You can't afford it. I thought, wow, I never looked at it like that before. Shope said, sir, you must intellectually understand it's not it that's your problem. It's you that's your problem. It's not out there that's the problem. Out there is like it's been for 6,000 years. You can't cure that. But what you can cure is errors in judgment, errors in attitude, errors in activity, errors in misjudging results. I found that the errors were within. But see, he had to go after me on that point.
From the dawn of man, we have turned to nature to help attain balance within ourselves. But somewhere, we lost our way. Western culture is once again remembering the healing benefits of CBD, the non-psychoactive component of the hemp plant. That's why more and more people who use CBD report relief from inflammation and chronic pain, balanced blood sugar and cardiovascular system, relief from muscle tensions, tremors, migraines, headaches, anxiety, depression, and the list goes on. The big question is, where do you get it? IO-Life is a 99% pure CBD oil made with all organic ingredients, and it's available to TFR listeners worldwide. If you use coupon code TFR at checkout, You'll get $5 towards your order. Head on over to ayalife.com now. That's AYA life.com.
If there's something you want to achieve, you can achieve any freaking thing you want as long as you know what the goal is. That's why goal posters or goal boards or even just telling someone what your goals are, writing them down is so important, because once you can identify your goal, it makes it so much easier to work towards it. And that's something that I think our children are not being taught in the school system right now, is how to set a proper goal. It's like, hey, what do you want to achieve? Well, the teacher gave me these things I want to achieve. Okay, well, what's that going to do for you? Well, I don't know. The teacher said I had to do it. Okay, that's great, but it doesn't teach them the logical thought process or the creative thinking process to develop a goal and then reverse engineer what they need to do to accomplish that goal. And we need more of that true goal setting in our society. Otherwise, we just have a bunch of sheep who have no idea what they're doing. They're just bumbling around. Don't be a sheep, be a goat. They're more creative and adventurous anyways. Be an ornery goat.
This is Truth Frequency Radio.
No haste, no hype, no fear. Real people, real radio.
I'm Neil deGrasse Tyson, bitch.
Lie. Me. Ha 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 ha. Never.
You're a liar!
It is Tuesday, my dudes.
Now, why in the... That is really strange. Didn't I play that once already today?
Oh, no.
I thought I played it at the beginning, and there was no screaming on there.
I don't think so.
Never played that screaming. The screaming's always been there, but I've never played it. It's never been a full audio file that I play. It's always been about half, because that scream is, I don't know what the hell it is, but it's weird as all hell.
Yeah, if you wanted to talk about some space lettuce, I just dropped a link in the Skype chat, also in the Iron Rail Media Telegram. This will make your brain hurt, just even conceiving how stupid this is.
Yeah, it's pretty dumb. I had thrown that in there myself as well.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if just look at it and see if you want to talk about it. It's bad.
Yeah, there was quite a bit of space lettuce in our show prep pile. Did you guys see India is no longer teaching evolution or the periodic table? They removed it from their education curriculum, and all these Western newspapers are flipping out. It's great. Oh yeah, the Quasi India. Yeah, I mean we were talking about this on Globusters. Is this going to be how they roll it out? These, well, India is, I wouldn't call it a third world country by any means. I know there are places in it that are pretty third world, but they're still, I mean, they have a space agency, right? Yeah. But is this how the rollout's going to be back to flat Earth? I think of it as like a 50-year plan. You first start off with countries like India, and you start removing some of the bullshit, like evolution. The periodic table one's interesting. I think they're going back to remove everything that's been man-made and only go to natural elements found on Earth. Nothing that's been.
Wait, Zach, are you
know,
talking about like rolling back the clock, essentially, like getting rid of all that nonsense?
Yeah, I think that's what they're doing with their periodic table, removing all the man-made elements that we've synthesized and now say that are elements. Is that really an element because we've created something, or is that just a mixture of things that are already there? I mean, how do you say something is a new element when an element is like supposed to be the base form of something?
I don't know. I've been taking chemistry since I was in high school, so there's 118 natural elements on the periodic table, and then there's like 26 that are unnatural that are on there, like the bottom part of the periodic table.
Yeah, I think they might be getting. Now, I'm not for sure about that. I don't know what they're actually doing with it, but I know they want to just take out evolution. But yeah, the question is this how they're going to do it? Then a few more countries are going to be adding on, and they'll start with evolution and the periodic table. And then 10 years from now, they're going to be like, we're going to take out this bullshit that we've been teaching you your whole life. And then 10 more years from, or 20 years from now, they're going to be like, this flat earth thing holds some, credibility. Let's teach both. And then eventually it'll be like the teachers are going to switch to making fun of the globe model 10 years after that. And then in 50 years, it'll be, the earth is flat, and they won't even mention the globe. They'll be like, 50 years ago, people were so dumb they believed the earth was a globe. Is it going to be something like that? Nice, slow frog in warm water, let it boil slowly type of thing, to where they know that they can't close Pandora's box. It's open now. So this is the start of a very long-term plan to slowly get the whole world back on to, we're calling your bullshit. It's time to stop saying it.
Yeah, I hear you on that one. And I believe that if they do want to actually do the whole eugenics, reduction of population, they would absolutely admit that the Earth is not a sphere, and then the world would go into chaos, and it would be civil war for 10 years, and a whole bunch of people would die.
Yeah, I don't know about that, guys. I mean, they, in my opinion, have successfully killed the flat Earth theory in terms of like the research part of it, where unless you were already involved in flat Earth in some way and had contacts in flat Earth, where you will know where to find the information if you were looking for it or who to follow. If you are new and you come across this, there's literally nowhere for you to go. So in that sense, they've successfully killed the flat Earth theory to what it could have grown into. I mean, now I was speaking to a friend of mine and slowly trying to show her things, which is why last time I was asking where would I even find flat Earth material now. But I've showed her things, and she asked me a question that I've never really thought about, or she made an observation. She's been watching all of these videos, like even the Red Bull, that high jump thing where they use the curved lens, and it's all the way up there, and the balloons that they send up, that we send up as flat earthers to up in the atmosphere, and shows that it's flat and everything. And she said there's an overwhelming amount of videos where either you're in a plane or in something, or there's a camera, and it goes up into the atmosphere, and you can see the plane or whatever it is, and it's flat. And in some of them, in fact, in most of them, you can see the sun. And she said, well, why is it that when we go up there, the camera never pans to where the moon should be? Or is it that if they can't see the moon when they're up there?
Well, actually, in the Go rocket footage from way like 2017, the one where the rocket seemed to like stop spinning in some type of maybe viscous matter, in that footage, even though the rocket was launched over Arizona and only went up 70 miles, it was able to see the sun and the moon both at the same time as it rotated around before that rotation was stopped again by what seemed to be a viscous liquid. When that footage was analyzed, the time of day taken into account, the data given to us by things like Google Maps, Google Earth, timeanddate.com, all the people who allege to be able to tell us where we are in this infinite void of space. All that data seemed to indicate that at the time of the footage being launched and recovered, the moon would have been over Australia, not over anywhere visible from Arizona. My brother actually did a graphic showing the heights from the Earth that would have been, and it's not even there is no fucking way you would have seen the sun and the moon at the same time at that time of day on that time of the there's no way. So at that point, to me, it was done deal. This place is flat. But hey, some people take a little convincing, it would seem. I'll send you that. That may be one of the first or second videos we ever did on this little channel. I'll see if I can dig it up.
I've seen that video. I just didn't know you could see the moon in it.
Yeah, you definitely can see the sun and the moon as it flips around. And the analysis of that footage is actually probably on our channel as well when we watched it and talked about it with Paul. Whether that analysis footage still exists in the rest of the world, I would probably doubt that.
Yeah, the moon was supposed to be over Australia, right?
Yep, 100%. Around the globe. And at the height they reached, there would be no way to be seeing it around the size of the ball we're
2
on.
millimeters off of that beach ball.
Mm-hmm. You're
see the curve of the earth. Yeah. Neil deGrasse Tyson, thank you again.
I'm Neil deGrasse Tyson, bitch.
He just did another interview. How can you prove that the earth is not flat without pictures? Because that was his go-to. We have pictures. It's like, well, I think the whole football thing about he went back to the football thing. It's like, dude,
What
okay.
has happened to those guys? They were around a lot when they were trying to disprove flat Earth.
Oh, they're still doing it.
Are they?
Recent.
Because I never see them anymore.
This was just like a week and a half ago on Star Talk or something like that. Jaron found him talking about flat Earth again, and well, yeah, you just kick a football east to west, and you'll kick it longer to the east because the Earth's moving underneath you to the west. Like, okay, so north to south.
But it only works for football. It's not airplanes.
And only east to west. North to south, it doesn't. It turns it off because that would move way too far. Like you would hit a golf ball and you'd have to aim it like 45 degrees to the right of what you're to the right of what you're shooting at if you're facing north. Or to the left. 45 degrees to the west. And then you would hit it up in that direction, and then the earth would rotate underneath you, and then the ball would land on the fairway. Because it rotated 75 yards to the west. When does that happen or take place, Neil?
It doesn't.
And then he even had the nerve to say, oh, yeah, we would talk to these people, but I'd like to talk to them. It's like, is that why you dodged every single interview? He's only agreed to do one with a flat earther, and he didn't do it. Debate it and say, oh, I don't want to do this. It was Neil deGrasse Tyson who said he didn't want to do it.
I mean, if you were in his position, would you change your mind?
Is he allowed to change his mind? Yeah, is he allowed
if he's
to?
even semi-intelligent, he can see the evidence that's out there that at the very least, even if he doesn't believe in flat Earth, that at the very least, what they've been telling him about the ball Earth is wrong. Would he even say that, you know what, maybe these guys have a point?
No.
Yeah, I don't think he can change his mind. He's already too dug in. He has a PhD.
Well, it's not even that. You know, he's a Mason. And he's taken vows.
Oh, there's a kitty.
You know, when you take a vow and hold a dagger to your heart and say, I will not go against this organization, you know, that's a pretty serious vow.
Yeah, and I was going to bring it up earlier, and Walt was mentioning the shape of the Earth and different types of aspects, and I think he said a twice-baked potato.
Wait, now what? I missed it. I'm playing with the cat. What did I do?
No, you were just
The Belu Earth?
yeah, you're talking about like potato Earth, and I think you said a twice-baked potato.
Absolutely, it is. It did seem to resemble that. Sorry, the cat is stepping on the keyboard here.
And by the way, if people have never had a twice-baked potato, look up a recipe for it and try it. They are fucking delicious.
Yes.
That's one of those Southern recipes you cannot miss out on.
I like taters.
Me too.
Do you guys grow a lot of potatoes over there, Duma?
Not really, no.
Yeah, they
We have
grow
a lot.
pretty well here in the States.
We have a lot of bananas, so we grow a lot of bananas and we do chicken farms and that kind of thing. Potatoes, not so much.
Yeah, one of our presidents, Jimmy Carter. No, never mind. He was a peanut farmer, not a potato farmer. He was a peanut farmer.
Okay, I got another question for South Africa. So you obviously speak English fluently, but what is like the main language? What is the name of the main language spoken in South Africa?
Oh, that depends on what province you're in. In my province is KwaZulu Natal. It's where the traditional Zulu tribes resided. So we speak mostly in the indigenous language here is Zulu, and then obviously for interacting with people, most people can speak English. But if you go up to, say, Pretoria, which is in Gauteng, it's English there, but a lot of the people there speak Afrikaans. In Pretoria and the Free State, it's a lot of Afrikaans. Even the indigenous black people will speak Afrikaans because of colonialism and the education system that resided in those provinces. So a lot of people speak Afrikaans there. You move down to Cape Town, which is, I would say, probably what resembles the West most in our country, the Western Cape. And then over there, it's a big mix of Afrikaans, English, Zulu, a lot of Xhosa as well. And Xhosa, a lot of the Xhosa tribes resided in the Eastern Cape, which is next to KwaZulu-Natal. An interesting fact, the Xhosa people and the Zulu people did not get along. They were always in wars.
All right.
Wow.
Okay.
Nuka, do you maybe we'll see if you can do this, make an observation for me, just with the sun and a compass. Like when you look at a compass, does it point way off from what they tell you north is?
Well, I've never held a compass unless you're talking about an app on my phone.
Yeah, it says your declination is crazy off down there in South Africa.
Yeah, I never got to do the scouts and everything, which I'd assume they're the ones that do compass. Because even when I was sailing, everything was just on board our boats. So I've never physically held even a small compass to find north.
I'm not sure how far off it says you're supposed to be, but yeah, that's wild. I'm looking at your magnetic field lines, and it's one of those weird places where it's really far off. It appears to be.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it looks like it's about 75 degrees off or something crazy like that, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I might be getting a hold of you on Skype and sending you some messages and If I have to, I'll even send you a compass.
I'm sure I can find a compass somewhere. You just send me what you need me to find, and I'll go do it.
Okay, awesome, man. Yeah, I'd like to see what it. I mean, this could either help us learn the magnetic field or learn the actual formation of, the land masses in this pond that we're all in. Because if it's all straight,
my friend here just pointed out that I didn't exactly answer the question about the language that is spoken in my country. Basically, English, Zulu, and Xhosa and Afrikaans are the main ones, and I can speak all four. But we have 11 official languages.
That's awesome, man. I can speak 1.5 languages, so that's great.
I can do about a half.
Zulu and Xhosa are pretty similar. Just certain pronunciations are a little bit different, but it's mostly the same.
So another question about South Africa. I've heard people say this about South America, how there's a lot of daylight, like 18 hours of daylight that can occur in certain parts of South America, in like the southern part of South America, certain times of the year. Have you ever experienced that anywhere where you live?
No. We daylight starts going. Okay, for now with us, it's our winter, so it gets dark pretty quickly. By the time it's around 5 p.m., it's dark. By the time it's 6 p.m., the lights are on and everything. It's definitely dark. And in summer, again, when it's around 7, it really started getting dark. So we don't have crazy amounts of daylight. Just in general,
yeah, they're
when it's
pretty
about
close
5
to the equator. Yeah, I mean, South Africa, it says the furthest away you get is only 30.5 degrees south. So South Africa, that'd be like right around where I am. And so, they're not far enough south to get the really, really long days. Like here in the north, we have to go further north to get those long days. The closer
That's
you
what I
are to
was-
the equator,
Yeah.
the closer you're going to be to 12-hour days, 12-hour nights.
In Oregon, I had told you guys there where I could see the sun finally sort of in the distance at the horizon area, getting dim, 11 o'clock, midnight. So for about 20 minutes, there's darkness completely in that area. And then boom, here comes that sun again in that northern area. As it comes on around again, it pretty much was visible 18 hours a day. It wasn't light in the area I was in, but you could see the sun pretty much for 18 or 20 hours a day. And that's just in Oregon. That's not even like, oh, I'm up in the Arctic Circle or some crazy shit.
Yeah, when I was up there in northern Minnesota, they say Ely, Minnesota is the furthest north you can go as far as the 48 states. It's the furthest city to the north. And yeah, it was like 11 o'clock. It would actually like be dark. You could see the sun until about 11, and then about 2:30, 3, it would
Yeah,
be coming
exactly.
up.
About 2:30 or 3 o'clock there, it would come around. Yep, exactly what I was seeing in Oregon. Which,
Yeah, pretty
to
wild.
me was nuts.
Yeah, really
what I
weird.
was taught growing up. So
And it's weird because you have the energy to be up that amount of time. Like the loons would start making noises as soon as they would see the sun or the sun was going down. And they're a really loud bird, and there's like there's a pair on like every lake or pond, or they're just all over up there. So
How do
as
you
soon
even
as that
sleep then?
sun's, yeah, you don't. That's what I'm saying. You don't. We always would go up during the solstice too, just for that reason, because the daylight was so long. But yeah, you just have the energy. It's weird. I worked with an old geologist, and he said he had done it for a couple times, going up there to the Arctic Circle during this time where the sun is. He's like, you can just stay up 24 hours. He's like, you just don't get tired. He's like, your body doesn't feel like it needs to shut down. Yeah, it's weird.
There's no impairment at all.
Sorry?
There's no impairment at all with your day to day, not getting a lot of sleep.
Well, he wasn't like working and doing it for weeks at a time. He would go up there for like a weekend and do a 3-day, 4-day, he said. He never did it for like the full, what is it, like 3 weeks of daylight or something like that? When you get real far up there. I'm not quite 100% certain how long it lasts, but he would do like a weekend thing.
Well, we are like fastly approaching the end of this show, guys. Thank you, Nuka, for showing up with there. Andrew, thank you for hanging out. Real quick, shameless plug. I was going to talk about it earlier and completely forgot. And then Any Word over there on Rockfin, thank you, Any Word, reminded me. If you're of an age that I am of an age, you will remember a little show back in the 70s and early 80s called The Midnight Special, where live bands, singers, people you loved would come on a show and do live performances. There was no lip syncing, there was no backing track, it was live performances. They have taken all the old footage, it has been remastered, the audio is immaculate, and now there's a channel on YouTube, the Midnight Special channel, that has all of them. I have been like going nuts listening to them over the last couple of 3 days. Any Word has posted one of his favorites there in the Rockfin chat. Thank you for reminding me there, Any Word. Thank you so much. So yeah, if you're old like me, go enjoy that stuff. It will blow you away. You will have forgotten so many great bands that showed up on there.
Love
Walter, I'm gonna
Yes.
buy you diapers for your birthday.
Awesome.
Yeah, have a great rest of your week.
We've still got
Cheers, guys.
Couple, 2 or 3, I think. Well, 1 according to this. I don't know. But I do appreciate you guys coming to hang out this morning. Always a pleasure. I am especially tired today, and I don't know why. Woke up feeling good, but just recently I'm ready to go the hell back to bed.
I'm hitting the hot tub. Loosen up my shoulder and then exercise.
Exactly. Hot tub. Too hot. Gotta get out of the hot tub. All right, guys. Love y'all. Love y'all. Love y'all. Thank y'all so much. Friday, we should have our good buddy Zombie over there on the Havnosphere show with us. That's the plan as it stands now. Best laid plans, however.
The best laid plans, yeah. Fingers crossed, we'll see. We do actually have some guests lined up, one way or the other. But thanks, guys, for hanging out. It's always a good time. The best way to start my Tuesday mornings. So we'll see you right back here on Friday for more Ironworx right here on Truth Frequency Radio, TFRlive.com. Until then, you guys be good, be well. We love you. Bye-bye.
This is iHeartRadio. iHeartRadio makes you want to move.
Makes me want to do something.
Yeah, no doubt.